What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today we are reviewing Home Alone 3. This is Home Alone 3, for a lot of people, was a massive step down from the first two movies. And Home Alone 3, Home Alone 3 was when the series started to decline. Okay? Home Alone 3 was when the series declined. Like, that is when this franchise starts to get downhill. Because a lot of people forget Home Alone's 3, 4, and 5. Obviously, everybody remembers 6, unfortunately. Okay? Out of all these 4 Home Alone sequels, 3, 4, 5, and 6, Home Alone 3 is probably the one that is the least bad. It's still not good, but at least it had creative traps. But here's the thing. The writer for this movie is the same writer that did the first 2 movies. And that writer is John Hughes. And all I can say to you, John, God rest your soul. What was he thinking? Like, it's honestly disappointing to see that clearly they didn't care. Okay, this was a moment when he basically didn't care for the series. Okay, because first of all, this came out like way in the late 90s. So at that time, the Home Alone trend was starting to die down, okay? Because Home Alone 3, like, Macaulay Culkin, fun fact, according to, now I may be wrong on this, but according to IMDb, which is probably the last place I want to read information from, apparently Macaulay Culkin originally was considered to be in this movie, but he declined. It's not because of the bizarre script. No. Macaulay Culkin, at this point in his career at the time, just was kind of sick and tired of, playing child roles. He was in that point of the career where he's starting to get sick of it, and that's why he declined. And plus, I think Macaulay Culkin did the right decision, because it was no way that he was going to star in there. Which means none of the main cast, or crew, or even director returned for this installment. Like, the only returning, member is the writer John Hughes. And boy, you need to tell me that these new criminals are apparently international criminals that, work for a North Korean terrorist organization? What? That has to be the most bizarre plot ever, and to get a chip for a potential missile to destroy America? Like, what? Like, this sounds like something out of an action movie. Like, this is not Home Alone. Like, this is way too bizarre, okay? And speaking of the criminals, they're definitely no near as memorable as Harry and Marv. Because the one guy and the one girl are we essentially have 2 Harrys and 2 Marvs. Essentially. We have not 2, but 4 criminals. You can't tell me that these are like the same criminals that have escaped like police, yet they could escape all that for 7 years, but they can't even get a freaking toy and can't even deal with a freaking child. If these are like international criminals, then they have to be the worst international criminals I've ever seen in my life. Like it's just pathetic, honestly. And at times, it feels like a live-action cartoon. And weirdly, this movie stars a very young Scarlett Johansson? What? Thank God she went on to star in much better projects, okay? Later in her career. As for the new kid, Alex, listen, no against the actor, but he's just, again, not as memorable as Macaulay Culkin. Like, no offense to any of the actors, but none of them aren't as memorable as the characters from the first 2 movies. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. All I can say to you is that Home Alone 3 overall was just a major step down from the first 2 movies. Overall, I think I'll give the movie, like, it was just okay. Honestly, it was just okay. Like, the only positive things I could give you is the traps. Like, the traps were actually pretty creative in this. Even though I think the criminals are kind of pathetic, but still. At least Harry and Marv, have an understandable reason of why, they always, are the worst criminals. Because they don't know how to do this. These criminals, they know how to freaking disguise themselves. Like, it felt like, the opening felt like something out of a James Bond movie, or some Jason Bourne movie, or Mission Impossible. But, not a freaking Home Alone movie. It's just too ridiculous to me. And, overall, I think Home Alone 3 is just okay, and just not as good as the first 2 movies. And that's it. Home Alone 3 came out in 1997, I believe. And unfortunately, has the lowest grossing box office out of the 3 films in opening weekend. Okay, Home Alone 3 came out, and basically was a financial flop. And sadly, this was the last theatrical Home Alone movie, unfortunately. It's unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate that Home Alone 3 will unfortunately be the thing that basically gets the franchise to basically not show up in the big screen again. And Home Alone 4 and 5 were straight to DVD sequels. So yeah. Stay tuned for Home Alone 4, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.